How is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Driveclub, and I've been investigating about this game and the season pass and additional tours and all of that. So the very first thing, that is the question that I had yesterday, is why are these not available even though I have the season pass? Well, precisely because they are not part of the season pass. They got released after it, pretty much alongside the bike update that was also a separate DLC not included in the season pass. And then I also checked this too. This Starline tour apparently appeared halfway through the DLCs. The DLC tours are released, and All Stars released close to the end. And here, these are the actual season pass tours, the DLCs, but they are ordered from newest to oldest. So my idea is to play them in order, which means starting from Ignition, both Ignition and Photo Finish being free tour DLCs that release well, after like a month of the game having been released. I think they were free as an apology for the release of the game being very bad, like with a lot of server issues and stuff like that. So these were free to download, both this and the next tour. So here I need to do a clean lap then. That's oh wait, this is a time trial, isn't it? That shouldn't be a problem, right? Wait, I like the white variant here. It looks pretty cool. But damn, that's pretty rough that the first one already asked for a clean lap. So yeah, I basically been busy investigating a little bit about these additional tours because I wanted to play them in the order that that I also played them back then when they were coming out. Apparently there was essentially a tour release per month, something like that. Well, I don't... That's not a clean lap. Since these are laps, the idea is that you can restart them as many times as you want. Well, by restart them I mean that you get to the end of the lap and you immediately restart the lap, right? Well, the question is how hard is it gonna be to beat the top time. I don't think it's gonna be that hard actually. And I mean, once you beat the time, you don't need to beat it again with a clean lap. Like you can just go for a clean lap and that's it. Like go as slow as possible just to get a clean lap. I mean, aside from that mistake at the beginning, this could have easily been something that beat the required time with a clean lap. It's just that this corner is so fucked up, dude. And the worst part is that it's the first corner in the game, because the tutorial happens, I'm pretty sure, in this same track, and that's not an easy corner whatsoever. That's very hard to properly do, you know. Now here, if the idea is also beating the time while having a clean lap, I will have to beat my own ghost. I mean, my own ghost is pretty much the same time as the 119 that says right there. I don't think it's gonna happen though. I don't really care either though, because you can do them separately, easily. I almost fucked up the clean lap there. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna best my own record, but I think that was a clean lap, right? Yeah, correct. Okay, well, that's that. So this car is DLC then, right? this Lycan, but if it's part of this tour, it had to be a free DLC. Also, every additional tour has its own set of achievements, so you will see a lot of weird achievements pop up for no reason. Alright, so this is the Caterham. Well, you can actually... Oh, this is like that other one. That other competition where I did pick the Caterham, but you can pick whatever you want. I mean, since I already picked this one, I kinda wanna try this one. I don't know if it's a good idea. You can change the color of the middle thing. Well, I like the red though. Looks very nice. I mean, the car itself looks very nice. Though, something weird about this. So all these cars have two seats. Aren't they supposed to be single seat cars? A little bit weird. I mean, I don't mind, but just make them look weird. Right? Like something is not right. I don't know what I crash against right there. Yeah, I know I'm going the wrong way. No shit. Thanks for telling me. I think that's the weakness of this car, having very bad handling, though. I don't think I should blame the handling on that crash. Just that I crash against someone. Or something. That's the thing. I don't even know what happened. It seems that the moment you hit something, all matter of control is lost with this. I think that might be the biggest weakness of this car. It's certainly not easy to handle at all. Especially when it comes to slow sections. Oof. Ah, damn it. By slow sections, I mean when you go to a tight corner after a very fast section. But then here you gotta go fast. Considering that it has good acceleration, I don't think going fast should be a problem. But we will see. Theoretically, a car with good acceleration should mean that it's not gonna be very long in slow speeds. It should get out of slow speeds quickly. So how is it going, Wasabi? This is not Sonic Racing? Yeah, but you gotta go fast regardless. Because if you don't go fast, the other guys are gonna go fast, and you are not. That will be bad. Hey, no, that's right. This is Driveclub, correct. The mythical game. So I really feel here like I'm playing some sort of mass hallucination. Like, Driveclub really is a game that completely disappeared from the video game industry in a very literal way as well. Because if it was at least available for purchase, even if it wasn't popular, you could always just play it. Like that is... Ah, fuck. Okay, hold up. Need to focus. There you go. The fact that it disappeared without a trace is crazy. Just poof. One day you see it, another day you don't see it. Pretty crazy. Today, when I was investigating, well, today and yesterday, when I was investigating the multiple tour releases of this game, I was remembering more or less how... I remember there was a lot of negativity at the beginning of the game's release because of the servers malfunctioning. Like, I remember, now that I mention it, I remember the servers being in a... Ouch. That was bad. My bad. Being in a very bad state that like, you will try to enter a menu and it told you something like an error happened and it took you back to the main menu, stuff like that. Like, that was something that was very common, and that wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that the game advertised itself as a game that was, you know, about driving with other people. It wasn't advertised as a single player campaign or anything like that. It was advertised as something that you would want to do with other people, but that's the thing, online. But yeah, it didn't go very well. And I think that the more the game progressed, like, they were ironing out those problems well, like they were fixing bugs and connection issues. But the thing is that when a game starts rough, it kind of like it taints its perception forever, even if later on becomes a very good game. And that's usually not a problem when, you know, how well the game does is irrelevant to you as a company to keep existing or not. But this is one of those games that basically was deciding the future of the company. Because I'm pretty sure that games like this are mostly developed with a lot of loans and credits, you know? So you are like to the investors, yeah, we plan on selling all of this in the first months, and then we speculate that with the season pass we're gonna get like more revenue and shit like that, and then comes the day where none of that happens and the investors ask where the money is, and then you have to sell your whole company or go bankrupt, which I'm pretty sure is what happened to Evolution Studios. So yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, happens. Did that also happen to Cyberpunk? Yeah, but I think that Cyberpunk, the thing about it happened with multiple games. It happened with games also like No Man's Sky. Well, with Street Fighter V, that I like talking about that game so much, well, it happened with a lot of games. But the difference here is that I'm pretty sure that this company needed this game to do well, or otherwise it will go down the toilet. And that's precisely what happened. It went down the toilet, you know, just the way it is. And yeah, it died. I wish the same thing happened to Capcom with Street Fighter V, but it didn't happen. And that's mostly because Capcom is way more than just a Street Fighter. If Capcom was only, you know, known for Street Fighter and didn't have any other title, like Street Fighter V would have completely demolished them. But it didn't, because they still have Resident Evil and Monster Hunter to carry them. So yeah. But Evolution Studio seems like it didn't have much. So yeah. Well, and in the case of the Cyberpunk developers, which I'm pretty sure it's CD Projekt Red, right? I don't think they had financial issues considering the... Oh, we got a Porsche. considering that they came from the Witcher games. At least we got Street Fighter 6 after that, so their survival was a good thing. Yeah, the problem is that Street Fighter 5, if you ask me, the problem with Street Fighter 5 is that it essentially not retroactively, sorry, I mean, it ruined a lot of the fighting games that came afterwards from other companies, because Street Fighter, it's such a big name that even with how shitty Street Fighter 5 is, it was still doing better than every other fighting game at the time. I think the only exception being Tekken 7, but not by a lot. Well, and Mortal Kombat kinda plays outside of the competitive community. More of a single player experience. So the point is that what happened is you have a lot of people trying to copy the whole dumbing down fighting games, because they are like, yeah, this is what sells because the Street Fighter is doing it. So unfortunately a lot of game developers went that way, and I mean, some people like it, I personally don't, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, if you ask me, what would I prefer? Would I prefer that fighting games never got shitty thanks to Street Fighter 5? Or would I prefer to have Street Fighter 6? As much as, you know, I think Street Fighter 6 is a good game, I think I would have preferred if fighting games as a whole didn't shit the bed after Street Fighter 5. Basically. I don't think I will take the trade there, but I guess a lot of people would. I don't know. But yeah, I feel that the best case scenario would have been of Street Fighter 5 dying after a year with no more content after that, and that they eventually put their shit together and release Street Fighter 6 after a while. So that way other fighting game developers will look at Street Fighter 5 and be, okay, this is what we don't have to do, because if we do this we are gonna go down like Street Fighter did, right? Instead of that, they were all no, we gotta go this way. We essentially have to sell a game with free-to-play characteristics for full price, so basically all of the bad things from a free-to-play game with none of the advantages, and also dumbing it down so anyone can play them without putting almost any effort. So yeah, I don't know. I personally don't like that, but it is what it is. So what I personally don't like is that I'm not even close here to the lap objective. 1 minute 32 seconds, but I'm 1 second off. Where am I gonna get that 1 second? Or I mean, rather the question should be, where am I not getting that second? Because a second, I mean, you might think that that's a very small portion of time, but it isn't. A second is a lot of time when it comes to a time lap. So there is one part that I'm doing horribly. At the same time, this is a very deceptive track. You have a lot of places. You have some very, very weird chicanes. Also, a lot of misplacement of flags. You have a lot of red flags on places that Nice. See, that's one of the only places where probably the red flag makes sense to be there. But yeah, this is a problem, because now I only have one lap to do this. How am I gonna do this? And we cannot pick any other car. This is the only car available in this event. Well, honestly, that right there, being less than a second off after the accident that I had, that should be a good signal. But keep in mind that that also means that I need to have a clean lap. Oh, and it's nighttime. Okay, that was something. So the issue now is that the difficulty will be higher because I won't be able to see shit. Nice. Something tells me we will need to reset this event. I can't see shit. Bro, I cannot even see the track limits. That's so fucked up. Like, I'm basically playing by memory right now. Right, and this was the corner that cucked me, wasn't it? Yeah, pretty much. As long as you try to do a corner exit that is clean, you should be mostly fine. Okay, only one corner remaining, and hopefully this is enough. We will see. Almost went too long, but no, that's fine. Is it gonna be enough though? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it will be enough. Not well, by 1 second it actually was enough, but then look at that. You can see shit right there. Like, you're just looking at a pitch black screen. That's fucked up. But you know, it's quite scary when you think just how dark the... this sounds philosophical, but it isn't. I'm gonna say it's fucked up to think how dark the world is, but I mean that in a literal sense. If it wasn't for the sun, like, let's just assume that we're talking about nighttime, and there is no artificial light at all, like it's just nighttime with the stars and the moon and nothing else. Everything is extremely dark. I know that that might sound obvious. It's like, yeah, no shit, moron. Why were you just born yesterday? Maybe that's what you're thinking right now. But the thing is that sometimes it's easy to forget. At least people that live in the cities like I do. Like, not people that live in a farm or in a super rural area. Like, people that live in cities like me often forget how dark the night truly is. Like, if there is no light to go around, good luck knowing where you are going. It's like you are swimming in darkness. Oh yeah. Kinda like the other day dawned on me. Like, there was a football match going that my dad was watching, and it was during nighttime. And I'm thinking to myself, if it wasn't for those gigantic 4 lights in each of the 4 corners of the stadium, that whole place will be so dark that you wouldn't even know it's a stadium. You will think that the camera is pointing at absolutely nothing. Like, I understand that all the things that I'm saying are extremely obvious, but it's just one of those things that, well, I personally don't actively think about light and darkness, right? When I think about it, I'm like, damn. Without any source of light, you really cannot see shit. And it's true, you cannot see shit. But yeah. Anyways, in another note, you know that this car has some very nice steering, but it's something that you have to get used to, because if you are used to, well, the previous cars that I should use, the steering of this car has absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, this car behaves so differently than anything else. It has an extremely good steering, but only if you know how to use it. Okay, and that should be enough. It is. Nice. It is a pretty interesting car and pretty weird as well. Like, the downforce on this thing is surreal. Really feels like you're driving a Formula car instead of, well, whatever category this is. I think it's either compact or performance, right? Well, we're gonna see it here again. Wait, actually, this is a supercar? No way. I was not expecting that. We're looking at a supercar. Certainly does not look the part. But I guess it's a supercar. Well, that explains that then. So this is an interesting one, because this is where they start with the objectives of finishing ahead a specific driver. So here we have this Alfie Sanders. We have to finish ahead of him. So that shouldn't be a problem, but you never know. So, you know, something that I find pretty amusing in a track like this is how you can see random bags fly across the track. Like, trying to say that the people living here are extremely dirty. You should see those plastic bags flying as if they were birds. It's pretty funny. I don't know what place this is supposed to be. I mean, I could do the very easy joke of what place this could be, but I think this is supposed to be Norway, ironically. Yeah, I don't know which place it is. I mean, judging by the mountains, it could literally be any of the countries represented in the game. As all of the countries that the game have mountains. Well, I don't know actually if Scotland. Wait, Scotland is. Yeah, Scotland should have mountains, right? I think. I don't know. Now I have my doubts. Also, I feel that any other time that a supercar race shows up, I think I should use this car. Like, this car, when you actually get used to it, is fantastic to drive. It's actually crazy how good it is. The biggest problem is that you kinda stop getting used to the other cars. Since this one behaves so differently, I feel at the moment I grab another car, it's gonna be a disaster. It will be an absolute disaster. I wish you could feel it. These are things that I can say, but unless you are playing the game, I think it's hard to tell you just how good the steering on this thing is. It feels like I don't know, that I'm using cheats with how extremely good this thing steers. It really feels like it. Like them. But don't underestimate this little guy, I guess. This guy is doing some interesting stuff. Oh. Now if I need to pick another one is where I'll start feeling the difference. Well, at least it's a drift event, so... Wait, did I already unlock the flakes? No, I didn't. I could change to that gray. Yeah. Now you know that this car... A little bit... It kinda looks like the mixture of a McLaren and a Lamborghini. Visually, I don't know from a technical perspective, obviously, but... It certainly looks like a Lamborghini and a McLaren. They both had a Potara earring. That first drift section was not very good. Maybe we can make a better one here. I will say that was a better one. Promise that that speed section, on the other hand, a different story. This most likely will still be enough though, probably. It actually is enough even if I got 0 from this last section. I have a feeling that at some point they buff the points you get for drifting. Like, they had to. Because I remember struggling so much in this event. Oh, we gotta use the Caterham no matter what. We can choose this lame ass color. Oh, but never mind, I have the flakes. So in that case I wanna use the flakes. Especially this one with the number on the side. Makes it actually look like a racing car. We gotta stay ahead of Sofia Lopez. Team, that is pretty funny, actually. I'm pretty sure I had a classmate on high school with that same name. Like, same name and last name. I'm pretty sure. That's pretty funny. Wow, well, is that who we gotta be? That's not gonna be a problem. Hey, that's crazy. Now I think about it, I know that they are two very common names and last names. Like Lopez, essentially any name, any last name that ends with S is extremely common in any Hispanic-speaking country. And then Sofia is also a relatively common female name. So yeah, high school reunion. I hope not. I don't really miss them. Well, some of them I do miss them. I really wonder if what are they doing. I wonder if they are still alive first of all. Some of them I highly doubt they are. But the ones that I hang out with, one of them wanted to be a sound technician. And another one wanted to be an odontologist. If that's how you say it in English. Like basically the doctor that checks your teeth, right? I remember those two guys. I really wonder what they are doing now, though. Because, I mean, one thing is what they wanted to do, and another thing is what they ended up doing. Those two guys were interesting, to say the least. They were cool people, though. Did some of them behave recklessly? I mean, a lot of them literally did drugs in the bathroom of the school. And a lot of them had very shady people that they surrounded themselves with. Those are the ones that I cannot imagine that they made it too far. The other ones, though, it's a 50-50. Anything can happen, obviously. Like the two guys that I just mentioned, I have no idea what they are doing right now. But I'm assuming that, I mean, unless they got lazy, they probably are leading a nice life. Hopefully. Yeah, I remember those two. There's also another one that I basically have been friends since kindergarten, basically. That he's doing well. I know how he's doing. He's doing okay. I think he was studying, I think, architecture stuff. I don't know if he quitted for something else or if he's still at it. I'm not sure. I also know if that's the word in English. But basically the guy that makes blueprints for construction sites, that's the guy. Like that's what he wanted to study. And then there were a couple of guys that I remember hanging out with them, but they were yeah, interesting people. They weren't bad or good, it's just that I didn't know much about them, even though I constantly hang out with them. They weren't very... Like, they didn't talk that much about themselves. For the most part. That's... Fuck. I completely oversteered. But I do remember that we were talking about games and they like playing a Battlefield. At the time it was Battlefield 3. They really liked that game. I was never a fan of first-person shooters, so... who cares? I was always like that, like, whatever, who cares about Battlefield, fuck that game. But it's fun. I mean, Battlefield 3 was a good game. Just that, I mean, if there is a video game genre you don't like, even if it's a good game, it's like, who cares? It's like someone that doesn't like racing games and you tell them, yeah, you know, Gran Turismo 4 is amazing, and it's like, yeah, okay, good for you, bro. But yeah, it's the thing that I have about not really liking shooters at all, ever. Okay, how am I supposed to do that? Like, that corner is borderline impossible to do without spinning. I mean, with this shit here, I'm assuming that with a better car it wouldn't be the case, but we don't have a choice here. Like, we have to use this shit, no matter what. As much as I rather not, we definitely have to. Okay, so the problem is that all of this is so free until those hairpins come. Unless, what if I do the Gran Turismo strat? You know what the Gran Turismo strat is? It's going against the wall and completely right the corner that way. I mean, ironically, that seems like a better idea than trying to do the corner the intended way. And that's simply because of the inclination. The fact that it's on a, like, uphill really doesn't help. But it's like both things at the same time. It's like a downhill first and an uphill later, right? Obviously, by doing it like that, you are gonna waste time that you gotta recover one way or another, you know? At least this fast section seems like you can do them well. As long as there is not another hairpin like those that we saw, it should be fine, but I don't know. Ooh, that was a very dangerous sector. I think this is the final corner, isn't it? Correct, it is. Alright. That wasn't that bad, and it usually is not that bad. In this game, when you have a time objective that happens in like a long track that goes from point A to point B instead of a lap-based track, you usually do pretty well, because you don't. It's not that picky with the timing. Alright, BMW. You know that all of these are supposed to be different cars, right? It might not look like it. It might look like you're being scammed, but yes, believe it or not, all these shits are different cars. Alright, they are different, don't get it twisted. They are all different cars. Yeah. Well, you can see them right there in the covers. You look at that and you're telling me those are supposed to be different? Sure they are. Pretty fucked up. It's what I said earlier about the Mercedes as well, that you know that I kept unlocking Mercedes AMG, and I'm like, dude, didn't I already have this one? That's because every Mercedes AMG in this game is like, it's the same shit. It kind of reminds me of Gran Turismo 6 with Nissan. Like if you go, well, Nissan and I think Honda as well, if you go to the concessionary of those two brands in Gran Turismo 6, it's like you will see the exact same cars. Like they have all different names, right? They are all next to each other, so they are supposed to be different, but you look at them and you're like, I'm looking at the same car. So the same thing I think about these BMWs and the Mercedes AMG. It's like, these are all supposed to be different models, but feels like you're just trying to scam me into thinking that you just have the same car and you painted it differently, you named it differently, and you called it a day. There's something suspicious in there. Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. So you know that while I was investigating for the additional tours in this game, I was seeing that there were some people mentioning that some of the tours in this game are actually hard. I don't know if that's just people sucking balls at a racing game or if they actually mean it. A lot of times it's hard to tell, you know? A lot of times it's just hard to see when someone sucks and just says that a game is hard because they suck at it, or if it is legitimately hard. I'm looking forward to it. And there are a lot of DLCs to play. Like, that's the thing. When you add the DLC content, this game has a lot to do. And I remember that being a complaint at the beginning of the game, that the game just didn't have enough content to warrant a full price tag. And now with all this DLC, it looks like a very complete game. Because I mean, otherwise, well, some of these are free updates, but the thing is that they came later. The thing is that what I did yesterday, like finishing the main Driveclub tour, like that would have been the game. Like those 2 streams that I streamed the game, that would have been the whole game, and then it ends. That's how it was on release, at least. And yeah, you could play online, but aside from the online working like trash, it also is the fact that, you know, you just didn't have much of an incentive to play the game. And that's why I say that I feel that it's a very similar situation to Street Fighter V. Because Street Fighter V also had the same issue. When it comes to content, like forget about the gameplay. Because I can rant all day about how Street Fighter V sucks as a fighting game and all of that. But that's not important. Just looking at the amount of content, like the quantity of content the game had on release, it was an absolute disaster. Like, the game released with 12 characters, without arcade mode, and with an online that sucked balls. Well, it always sucked balls. Like, the online never got better, but the point is that you essentially had a fighting game with only 12 characters, and the only way to play against the CPU was to play like a very shitty story mode for each character that in reality were like 3 cutscenes and 3 fights each. Cutscenes that are, by the way, very badly drawn, with very shitty story, against a CPU that I'm pretty sure was in the easiest setting possible, and I don't remember if you could even change it. Then the other way to play against the CPU was to... Oh, hold up. Need to do the face-off. Whew. I almost failed it. But yeah, I was about to say, go to versus mode to fight the CPU, and there you could at least configure the CPU difficulty, but that's lame. And then you had a survival mode that was basically playing against different CPU opponents over and over, but completely aimlessly and repetitive. So that game on release was trash. Also, speaking of trash, this Kyla Jones rival that I'm supposed to beat, like, holy fuck, it's on last place. I don't know if you saw it earlier in the minimap, but it had an accident and got to last place. How is that challenge supposed to be a problem? Like, are the opponents that you choose random? Like, look at the minimap. It's not only on last place, it's on last place by a long shot. Holy shit. It seems that the opponent is completely random. So if it just happens that the opponent that the event chooses is the guy that is on last place, you have a free start, basically. Well, I'm certainly not complaining, you know. But that's weird. You will think that it will always be the CPU that is like close to the lead, but no. On very dead last. But as I... Well, not only dead last in the race, but dead last in the championship too. Pretty funny if you ask me. So I unlocked the Aston Martin 177. Okay. Is it 1 or is it 77? Which one is it? What are the cars allowed here? Oh shit, well I know which one I'm picking. Problem is that as good as the handling is, I'm basically ducking it out against two other cars that are faster. I'll still try though. Might be a bad idea, but I wanna see. Because I told you, the way this thing drives is amazing, but the issue here is, will I be able to reach the lap time that this thing wants? Because maybe I can't. Only one way to find out. Something that you will probably see is all of the... Wait, the aerial wasn't an option actually, was it? I thought it was an option. No, it's that shitty... That shitty car that doesn't have a roof. Well, the aerial also doesn't have a roof, but I mean that it's the one that sucks, not the aerial. Or Ariel, whatever it's pronounced. It's not that, so that means that we should be more than fine, because the Caterham here has very bad acceleration. So I don't think, even if they have a better top speed, I don't think they should do better, but we will see. Too early to tell. The issue is in straight lines like this. In straight line like this, the amount of time you will be losing is crazy. And that's compared to the other two cars. And it might be a problem because if I cannot get the time objective, I'm done. Like, there's no way I can get the stars here. Those two guys are very ahead. But maybe after all I will have to pick the Caterham. That's not a problem because I don't dislike the car, but would have at least expected that there wouldn't be such a difference, right? It would be nice to at least reach them, even if I couldn't get the lap time, if I could at least just overtake them. But that also has another issue, because even if I overtake them, the insane speed difference in the main straight will make it so even if I'm first place, these guys will overtake on the final lap. And if they overtake on the final lap, I'm not gonna win. Well, you don't need to win, you need a top 3 finish, but yeah, I cannot get the lap time. That sucks. I really wanted to use the Renault there, but I guess we are not. Guess we have to go with the Caterham. Okay. I mean, as I say, I don't dislike this car, so might as well. We basically have to say goodbye to that amazing handling that the Renault has, which is the real shame here. It's not just a matter of the objective, the lap objective, it's also the fact that you will struggle to win, because this game, most of the tracks have very long straights at some point. And the moment you have a very long straight, if your top speed is very different from the other cars, it will immediately be noticeable, as you saw in the previous attempt, you know? Like, it will be so noticeable that there's not much you can do other than, well, pick whatever is the fastest thing, right? In this case, the Caterham is the fastest. I wouldn't be surprised even if I get the lap objective on the first lap. Yeah, I will. Damn. That's racing. Like, that was a day and night difference. It really is a shame because of how fun the Renault is to use, but can't do much when the competition is this, you know? You just gotta give it up. As I say, the Caterham is also nice to drive, so I don't mind. Not to mention that looks cool too. The Caterham is definitely the best choice here. Look at all that army of Caterhams behind me. I like the fact that you have two different Caterhams in the game. One that is supposed to be slower and then this one that is supposed to be fast. Pretty cool. What I can't remember is if the Caterham was in Gran Turismo, in the PS3 Gran Turismo. Like, part of me thinks it was, but maybe it wasn't, and I'm making that up. Hard to tell. That was a day and night difference. Essentially here you have zero reason to not pick the Caterham. Why wouldn't you pick the Caterham? It's like, well, you could want to make it harder for yourself. Hey, hold up. Someone talk to me, let me check real quick. Oh, it's okay. Alright, what is this? Well, rather, what is this? What is the objective? Okay, a cornering face-off, but you have 3 laps, so... We have more than enough time to fuck up. I still can't believe. I look at the name on the of that driver, Sofia Lopez, and I still can't believe it. It's like, you know, that kind of thing that, you know, you look at something and it just unlocks memories. Memories that you haven't seen in a while. But you see a trigger and you immediately remember them. And that's one of them. Like, I completely forgot that girl even existed until I saw her name again. Phew, I barely beat that. I can say that about most of the people on school. Some of them I remember them because they are easy to remember for the kind of shit they said or did. But yeah, some other ones are like you don't remember until someone mentions them. I mean, obviously here no one is gonna mention them. Like, how could they possibly know? But then I see literally the exact same name in a game, and of course I'm gonna remember. Pretty funny. Trying to remember if there was another classmate I had with a very common name like that. When I say common name, I mean common name and last name. Because you could, like, most of my classmates had common first names that you will see everywhere. It's just that their last names were not, for the most part, extremely common. Some of them still were, but... Yeah, I don't think there were many, or at least I'm not remembering them right now. That's probably the most common name for a classmate that I had. I can tell you that one, that Sofia, that she was a very pretty girl. Well, most of them were. I mean, it's to be expected. But I remember that. Actually, you know, now that I think about it, was it? Yeah, it was high school. Yes, it's just that I think she dropped out. Well, by drop out, I don't mean that like she should stop going to school altogether. I mean that she moved to a different school. So I feel like I don't remember her being there all the way until graduation. Like something happened in the middle. Did you ever see Sofia again? No. The same way that I didn't see anyone from high school again, pretty much, so... No, I didn't. Hey, how is it going, Sunshine? Yeah, no, I after high school ended, I did not see anyone ever again, essentially. So yeah, no, no exceptions really. Like, I'm trying to think, but no, there wasn't. Well, actually, okay, no, there was an exception. Like, I was in a, we have public transport here that are kind of like buses that you take in a certain bus stop. It's just that they have a different name, but they are essentially buses, right? I remember just randomly meeting one of the high school guys that I used to hang out with all of a sudden. That was a pretty nice surprise. I think it was when I was coming back from university and I was on the bus back to my home. I think I remember just randomly seeing him there and I'm like, wow, what the hell? I mean, it made sense because that guy, I remember that he lived very close to where I live. But yeah, that's, I think, the only instance that I remember. I don't think I remember meeting with anyone else outside of that, and that was a coincidence, basically. I don't think that outside of stuff like that, it happened. Ouch. Man, that's enough for a penalty, no way. That might be a problem for the required time. I hope not, but that was a considerable time loss. I don't know why it gave me a collision penalty. Like, the crash wasn't that strong. Yeah, I'm doing well. I just saw the insane amount of content that is left of this game, and it's crazy. Because the game had so many DLCs, and the funny thing about the DLCs is that each one of them was worth like $6 or something crazy like that. Like a single tour with all the cars and whatever else it came with, it's like it was $6. So the only reason why I have them all is not because I pay $6 for each. It's because I had the season pass. So in terms of the value that you get for the money, I guess the season pass was very well done. Though you can say that, but I think it's mostly the fact that the individual DLCs were extremely overpriced. I feel like even $4 per DLC would have been a lot. But no, it's $6. Well, technically, for what I remember reading, it was $5.99. But also, wow, that time was completely free. Even with that slowdown, and all the Renaults pretty much at the end. Well, we got the ignition thingy. So that's the first additional tour completed. So that's cool. But that means that we unlock a paint shop that I'm probably not gonna use, but that's fine. After this comes photo finish, because here is the thing. The funny thing about this is that these tours, they release 2 per update. So for example, ignition and photo finish came on the same update, but because there is an uneven amount of tours, they are essentially split in a stupid way. Because the pair here will be ignition, photo finish, red line elements, well, whatever comes after, right? Like, it's basically in diagonal instead of being vertically, so yeah. Photo finish is the one that comes afterwards. And this is another one of the free DLCs that the devs released after the game was out. So yeah, that's what we have. Hey, how is it going, Clone Cat? Yeah, where can we buy this game, I wonder? Where could we possibly buy this game? Yeah, unfortunately nowhere. You cannot buy this game. But hey, that's more of a reason to not feel guilty about emulating it, right? I mean, if you don't have any legal way of obtaining the game, there is no need to be hesitant about emulating it, right? The problem of emulating it is that I'm pretty sure that you will need a very good computer, and not to mention that I don't even know if it's emulated properly right now. Because this is a game that looks amazing. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be hard to emulate. But usually games that use a lot of very pretty graphics tend to be a pain in the ass to emulate. Because regardless of the performance, because yeah, you might need a beefy computer, but it's also about the complexity that might make some effects not get emulated properly or something like that. So yeah, just one of those things that it happens. Well, and the other thing you can do, though, I would say that it's a very bad idea, is buying, well, not to mention, I don't think, like, it's a bad idea, and I'm pretty sure it's against terms of service, but you could purchase an account that owns this game. How good or bad is PS4 emulation? Well, according to reports, Bloodborne runs perfectly, and even runs at 60 frames per second, which is something that you cannot even do on a real PS4. That's what people report. I have no clue if that's the case or not. And it apparently runs a bunch of other games too, like Project Diva Future Tone, the Yakuza games, I think it also runs. And if you want my personal experience, I can run Ketsui, Dodonpachi, Daiyosho, and Battle Garega, like the PS4 ports, work well. Ketsui, unfortunately, like crashes at the end of a run. But I mean, that's not a problem because you can simply, you know, go back to the menu instead of entering your name in the, like, your initials, right? Oh, these are all Ferraris? Look at this Ferrari thinking he's special and being a different color. I'm gonna pick you. You convince me. Well, you can make it red too. Well, in fact, you have 3 different reds in case one is not enough. In fact, you have a lot of tones of the same color. I did like this blue though. It's a cool looking blue. PS4 emulation is picking up pace quick, yeah. Essentially, it's doing well. As long as they don't do any stupid shit like the people that were emulating 3DS that started asking for money or some shit like that. As long as that doesn't happen, they should be able to progress well. You really want me to do an average sector in such a slow-ass collection of corners? Well, that works, so I'll take it. So the sound on this car is crazy. I can never enter my name and show my dog who is boss. Wait, what is that referencing? I never enter my name and show my dog who is boss. Yeah, I don't know what that is a reference of. It's probably a super common reference, but I don't get it. It's fine. I tend to not get references. It's a very common thing I have. Wait, how am I gonna get this lap objective? Is there a better car than this one? Because it seems like this one is gonna go pretty far at this rate. $45. I actually got it. With that additional hit and everything. It would be funny if without the hit I wouldn't have gotten it. If I actually tried to avoid the wall, I wouldn't have gotten it because of all that I had to slow down. Yeah, this game looks pretty, but wait, jokes aside my ass, what is that referencing? Like, you didn't answer, or like, I can never enter my name. Oh, you were talking, okay, about entering your name in the leaderboard of the shoot 'em ups. Wait, what does the dog have to do with that? Does your dog play shoot 'em ups? Okay, I think I get it. I have a dog that can play shoot 'em ups. Yeah, you cannot enter it. Or rather, you can enter the name, but it's gonna crash like a second afterwards, so... It only happens in Ketsui. In Dodonpachi, Daiyosho, and Battle Garega, it works fine 100% pretty much. Like, those games I think are fully playable. Shame that Battle Garega is a game that is fucking trash, so even a game like that... Actually, no, I remember something. I know I got another AMG. This is the 7th one at this rate. Holy shit, they just don't stop coming, the stupid ass AMGs. Anyways, I was out to say... Fuck, I forgot what I was out to say. Yeah, in all of those 3 games that I mentioned on the PS4 emulator, there is an option menu that shows things like, you know, make hitbox visible, or change the color of the bullets, or change the difficulty of the cabinet, or, you know, allow hidden chips to show up in the selection screen. That menu for some reason doesn't work. Like, it's invisible. I don't know why. Like, you would think that a menu will be the easiest thing to emulate, but apparently not. So that is one thing that doesn't work, but as long as you play with default options, those games work well. Well, I hope they work well, considering that they are just arcade games ported. But yeah. Rodon Inu. Will be an interesting game if you have dogs instead of bees in Dodonpachi. But yeah, cannot have good things. Instead we have to see bees. But yeah, going back to what you also said, yes, this game, the best thing about this game is how pretty it looks. It's a game that looks extremely pretty. The only problem is that it runs at 60 frames, at 30 frames per second. Which is a shame, but you know, if anything, the 30 frames add to the cinematic effect, right? Also, cover your ears. Oh wait, this one is not the loud one. Actually, this one doesn't even make a noise. Because you know that there is an electric car in this game that is extremely loud. But it's not this one. This one actually barely feels like it's working. But it is working. Just that there is no engine to make a noise. This is technically the first electric car that you are forced to use. Pretty nice. Hey, that's also another thing that I like about this game. The fact that I think it was one of the first ones at the time to actually include electric cars instead of having the usual, you know, non-electric cars. So I can pick any of these. These are the two that I unlocked lately. Wait, I can use this one too. But isn't this blocked by club? Like, that's the logo that you need to have a club, right? That's weird. I can use the Porsche. Orange Porsche. Hold up, let me put on my... this. Because you know it's raining very interestingly right now. Oh, I just realized it say Britain versus Germany. Like the good old times, right? Britain and Germany facing off. What can go wrong, right? So I picked Germany, by the way. I picked Porsche. I don't regret it. Yeah, classic match, you can say that. Very, very classic match. You know, that reminded me that there was one of these that was Italy versus Germany. And I'm like, wait, that's friendly fire. Hey, come on. You shouldn't be fighting against each other. Okay. I guess we have all sorts of matchups here. It happens. I should still find it fucked up that apparently no video game outside of Need for Speed is allowed to use the Porsche name, and instead they have to use Roof. That's very messed up. Hey, we all know it's a Porsche, but just call it a Porsche, damn it. Unless it means there are less of you for us to fight against, in which case, yes, do fight each other. Well, the thing is that I'm pretty sure the USA did not fight the Germany or Italy. Like, the USA exclusively just bombed Japan. Which is... well, it's funny to think in retrospect, right? Like, they are just doing their own thing while, you know, France and, you know, the UK and all of them are fighting against Germany and Italy. Well, Russia as well. And then you have all of a sudden Japan getting atomically bombed. Just like that. Pretty funny. Not pretty funny for the people that were in the bomb cities, I guess. It's called roof. It sounds like there is a dog barking. Just call it roof. Apparently Porsche, unless you are Need for Speed, they don't want you pronouncing their name. If you are not Activision, they don't want you to use their name. It's Britain versus Germany, Norway. It says Norway because the track is in Norway, but it's just pretty funny. The Nordic countries had nothing to do with that war. They were just minding their own business. When I need to beat Hiroshi Ando... Well, see, differently from the previous girl, I definitely did not have anyone in my class named Hiroshi Ando. None at all. Japanese descendant people are not very common here. They are very common in Brazil though. But here, I think I remember there was one guy from another class that was Japanese descendant. And then I remember someone at my workplace that used to work there that was also Japanese descendant. But aside from that, not really. Hiroshi Ando, my favorite British pilot. No, don't worry. Here, half, if not more, of the drivers, we speculate them to be American. Like, for example, Kyla Jones, Peter Nielsen, like, these are all Americans, dude. Sure, one of them is probably from the UK or another Anglo country like Australia or whatever, but yeah. Most of the drivers here are American. So Hiroshi Ando, I think it's the only one that is supposed to be Japanese. So, you know, something that I remember that it's pretty funny. Remember that here people, like that guy that I mentioned that was in my shop, like that co-worker, like people, you know, people here can do some pretty funny shit, but it's all in good laugh. Like, if this was the USA, the guys that I'm probably about to mention will get fired, but basically the nickname of that guy was the Chinese guy. Like, people will call him Chino. Chino means in Spanish Chinese, right? Even though they knew he was Japanese. So yeah. And the guy didn't mind. Not like he got offended. It's just pretty funny to think of. Because those are the kind of things that could make you lose your job in a country like the USA. Here, it's like nobody gives a shit about that sort of stuff. It's pretty funny. But you know, that's not the reason why he stopped working at the company. Well, in fact, most people stop working at the company simply because they went to other places that paid better. I simply don't like the idea of hopping between a job and another, so I should stay where I am, even though I probably could get paid better. But the way I could get paid better is the same way I probably could not, you know? And it's a gamble, and I don't like gambling. So yeah, I should basically stay where I am. But most of the people that I remember that were in the company when I started, most of them quit. There are only a couple that stayed after a while. Well, after a while, I mean, that they were there since I was there. Since I started, I can't speak properly. And believe it or not, the company is doing better than ever. Like, that's the thing. And something that it's a little bit of a bleak reality. But just how replaceable everyone is, you know? Because the company has been doing the same stuff that it's done ever since I entered. And a lot of the people that left were not simply like rookies. I mean, yeah, there were rookies that left, but there were also people that have been in the company for decades and left, and the company is still doing as well as it was when I entered. Probably even better because it's even bigger now. So that's one of the crazy things to think about. How everyone is so replaceable. Myself included, of course. If I were to leave the company, I would easily get replaced as well. At least they are not replaceable by AI. Well, that depends. There are a lot of communicates, like, you know, mass emails that human resources sends to say something like, I don't know, a happy Hanukkah, right? So when they send something like that, they add a drawing attached to it. And that drawing, it's been a while since they started doing AI drawings. Even though we have a design team, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I mean, we're not gonna get replaced now, but we are starting to see some usages on AI in places that, even if they are not important, there's also no reason to use them. Not to mention that there was also a survey, or well, poll, whatever you wanna call it, the other day that asked the members of the company how much we use AI when we code and how did we feel about using AI. So they are not doing it now, but I'm pretty sure that at some point they will most likely not replace you by AI, but at the very least make you use AI. And well, if AI becomes strong enough, maybe you will get straight up replaced. Maybe not, I don't know. For now it won't. Like, for now, I can guarantee you that AI is so fucking dumb that it's not replacing shit. But if there is, you know, major advancements like they were in the past years, and it actually starts being more useful, I don't know. It's hard to tell, because as much as I can say, I'm 100% sure I won't be replaced by AI. Like right now, I'm sure I'm not gonna be replaced. But hey, what about in 5 years? What about in 10 years? Will I be replaced? I don't know. I have no way of knowing it. But you know, I never concern myself with stuff. Well, there was a time that I did concern myself with things that could happen in the distant future, but I no longer concern myself with that. I essentially just live the day to day with what there is, not what there could be. So I'll worry about it when it happens, but not before. It will have to be a complete paradigm shift, because as it is right now, AI is really not replacing shit. Where is the finish line of the face-off? Oh, it's not here. A relatively long section, huh? Oh, it's there? Ooh, I barely got it. By 0.2 kilometers per hour. God damn. It's fine. And then there is the other objective that is finishing top 2. For some reason these other Mercedes are very hungry. I don't know why. You weren't this hungry on the previous track, were you? What's wrong with you? You can be close, but you're not gonna overtake. You will not overtake. Okay, got it. Yeah. The auto finish contender. Yeah, it says that. Like, that sounds cool, but oh shit, I got the McLaren P1, nice. That's the normal one, not the DLC one. I was about to say, that achievement looks like it's about both of us being close to each other, but no. Like, that's the name of the tour, photo finish, so... Yeah. It sounds more impressive than it actually is. But yeah, this is a time trial. Every time that I see a time trial, I think to myself, how long am I gonna get stuck here? Just how long? And it could be a long time. Hopefully not. Yeah, so far, of all the type of events, time trials are very clearly the hardest ones. It tends to be that way in every single game, you know? I mean, in Crash Team Racing, as a random example of a game that is not even trying to be realistic, obviously, the hardest thing about that game is not the adventure mode. Like, the hardest thing is beating the ghost in time trial. You know? Wow, that's a very fucked up corner. Holy shit, I was not expecting it being so sharp. As usual, yeah. Hey, even Mario Kart. You know that if you actually try, for example, in Mario Kart Wii, to beat the developer times, that's super hard to do. You actually need to really know the game and know exactly what combinations to use, because you're not getting it otherwise. And as expected, I didn't get this on the first try. So that's a shame. I mean, there are some corners that I did very badly, but still. Not to mention a lot of zigzagging as well. Like a lot of left-right corners that appear constantly. This corner is so degenerate. These two hairpins. Like, holy shit. what even is that? I mean, I know that it's supposed to be a mountain climb, and mountain climbs look like that, but god damn. Well, another thing that you could think about it is that in this single lap time trials, if you get it on the first try, the event will be extremely short. Anyway, I got it. And this time by a second and a half, so that was very good. What do you mean crashes and realistic? Will be pretty nice to just have random animals walking and talking. There was a time in my life when I was tryharding the double dash time trials. It was not worth it. Damn. A game like Double Dash, where essentially every character plays completely differently, at least tell me that you use Toad and Toadette. Because if you try doing something like that with, for example, Donkey Kong, you are not gonna do shit. Like, that game is crazy when it comes to the balance. Like, it might be the most unbalanced Mario Kart game in the series. Like, there is so much difference between every single driver. And if you don't have Toad and Toadette, it's like you're asking to lose, you know? Yeah, those little shits are extremely broken. I remember using it to beat the Grand Prix. I didn't even bother with the time trials. But I didn't bother with the time trials in any Mario Kart game. Well, except for 8. But I only did that with the Easy Ghost. Oh shit, we're going with the P1. So it's interesting that here, if I hadn't unlocked it before, would I have been able to even use this? I feel like it wouldn't have worked, right? Yeah. We're going on the P1, and this one has curves. I think it doesn't have DRS, right? Or does it also have DRS? Let's see. No, it does. Oh yeah, it does have DRS. Well, the thing here is that the time trial can be an absolute shitfest, because this not only depends on how you do the corners, but also how you use the mechanics. So you know that yesterday I investigated actually how DRS work, and to my surprise, in Formula 1, except for the fact that it's limited to certain sections and only when you are behind someone, it does work the same in the sense that it's the rear wing shifting to increase the max speed at the cost of downforce. So it pretty much works mechanically like this, but yeah. And by the way, the acronym means drag reduction system. Because what it does is precisely that, reduce the drag that the car has to deal with by letting the wind pass through more easily. I mean, that's the idea of aerodynamics, you know. I use a baby and Toad. Oh, because you could combine them, right? At some point. You didn't need to only use like the default combination. You could have them in different teams. Yeah, that's something that I didn't remember that was the case. I guess it was. problem. Even using the DRS and KERS at the maximum, I still struggle quite a lot here. I tap the brakes. You really don't want to tap the brakes there. Okay, this one is gonna be pretty hard. This one will be very, very hard. But I think the strategy is probably use the KERS on corner exit exclusively, and then, well, the DRS, use it as much as you can, basically. What the hell? Fuck. This one might take a while. This one might actually take a while. A little bit fucked up that as soon as the time trial starts, the DRS gets automatically disabled even though it was enabled beforehand. You could just start with it enabled, since it is enabled. But whatever. Maybe the KERS is something that you benefit more from using it when you are already going fast, instead of using it on corner exit to accelerate. And maybe that's the case. Using it in corner exit is an absolute waste. Could be. Alright. So I'll use it when I go fast then. Like here. So if you look at the speedometer, it feels like it works either way, but it's probably more noticeable when you're already going fast rather than when you're going slow. The DRS there kinda fucked me up. I also probably shouldn't be that aggressive with the DRS. Like, I'm being extremely aggressive, but probably shouldn't. And that chicane at the end is gonna beat my ass a lot, apparently. Yeah, this one will be hard. To the point that I might even remember having struggled with this time trial. It might have happened. I guess the hardest thing is knowing when to use the KERS. That's the real issue. Okay. I'm gonna use it here. Fortunately, there I went a little bit long on that. Okay, now go. Nice. Got it. Pretty cool. I guess that the idea, I think the most important thing is don't activate the DRS when you are about to do a corner. It sounds obvious, but you should only activate the DRS when you're already going fast, and the same applies to the KERS. You just want to use the KERS when you are already going fast. You don't want to use it for acceleration. So yeah, don't do that. Oh yeah, these are the hot hatch. These are the shover cars. I mean, I can use this one, I guess. Oh yeah, this one that was so exclusive that you couldn't even change the color. But that also means that gaining levels with this car is useless, because you won't have any additional design. Yeah, now that I think about it, using it was probably a bad idea. It's fine. I mean, at least the objectives I should be able to get them easily. I think that this car might be able to dominate all these guys pretty easily. I don't think it should struggle at all. I think we're gonna be doing well here. Oh, also, this is interesting. One of the objectives is getting a total time, but this is a race with laps. So that means that, yeah, like the whole thing has to be below 4 minutes and a half. I think it's the first event like this, right? Where you have a total time objective on a lap base. On a lap base race. Well, that might be a problem because on that first lap I spent more than a minute and a half, and the idea is that you will want to do an average of a minute and a half per lap. I know that that's probably because of the start that obviously is slower on the first lap. Might need to pick up the pace a little bit. That's a pretty nice sunset. Oh, also, eventually the game gets weather. Like at some point, you will see rain. So I'm surprised that they don't retroactively apply it to these tracks, though. Unless it's not available on these tracks. I guess they only have it on some of the following DLCs. I don't think I'm gonna get the total time at this rate. Well, if I repeat that same lap time of the second lap, I actually will get it. But it seems that not by a lot. This is a cool track, I gotta say. Definitely a cool track. Also a very slow track, which is why it's not a surprise that they make you use the slowest category in the game. Because if you needed to use any faster car in a track like this, I can tell you that it will be an absolute pain in the ass to do anything. Probably a bad idea. Yeah, man, every 10-second difference with the second place. Yeah, I think that that's also a common thing when it comes to to these lower categories that the AI is bad on purpose. Alright, and the trophy, wait, do I have to pick the Renault? Oh, I do have to pick it. Driveclub TM edition. Pretty funny. I think I unlock anything, right? No. I could pick another vehicle like this one, for example. So, this is a different car than the other electric car that I used before, right? Because the other one didn't let you change the color, so this one is a different one, I think. Is this one also gonna be completely mute, or is it gonna be like a space rocket? No, this one is also mute. Like one of the nice things, if electric engines were actually widespread, is that you will remove probably one of the most annoying sounds of cities, which are the engines of every asshole that has to go through the city. Because a lot of engines, even if they are, you know, classic oil engines, are relatively quiet, but you will always have like a super old car, especially when it comes to buses. You have very old ones that make so much noise. And if they could use an electric engine like this one, well, they will probably still make noise. Well, I don't know, maybe with the air conditioner. A lot of buses here have air conditioners included. And I think that makes noise no matter what. But yeah. Though the worst offenders are the people with motorcycles. There are people with motorcycles that specifically get a loud engine to basically stand out. They are the most insufferable assholes possible. They really are. But considering that they do it on purpose, I think that even if electric engines were a common thing, they will still probably do the same thing. So it depends on how expensive they could make it. If they make it very expensive, maybe they will stop. But I don't know. Maybe they won't. Though the sound that you still hear a lot is the sound of the tires. The tires are very loud. And that's something that I don't know what other type of technology you could use for the tires to not squeal like that. Wow, I actually saw a lightning on the distance. It's not raining. It seems like it was just a little decoration. I actually can't wait until we get to the, well, to whatever is the DLC tour that introduces rain. I think it's the one that is called Elements. And I think it is one of the first ones, so we might be in luck. I like how if you try to overtake anyone without crashing, you will have to make an insane effort. But I'm not making that insane effort. I mean, you could see right there that because of these guys I couldn't get the average speed face-off. All because of these guys getting constantly in the way. And there is 12 of them, so it's not a surprise. I move out of the way. Ah, fuck. This car struggles a little bit in some of these corners. And the issue here is that I'm not in the lead. That is a problem. I will have slipstream, which is a good thing, but I feel that it will most likely get in my way, as expected. The problem is that that's one more attempt that I cannot properly try. Though that's also a hard face-off, regardless. That's not easy at all. So I might be in trouble. I have 2 more tries, but it does seem like a hard one. Now, if you look at the minimap, it seems that I'm leaving everyone else behind by quite a lot. And I think that only the second place is not that far behind right now, simply because he got in my way. Like, I couldn't overtake him in the first lap and he got in my way on the second one, but it seems that he will share the same fate as the other ones. Hopefully. I actually got the average speed, because I used the brakes a lot at the end, but I could have done that final corner almost at full speed and it would have worked. That was pretty funny. So essentially, if you equalize the objective, it still counts as you beating it. So it's hard to tell because they only use 1 decimal point, but it's most likely that there is more than that. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Well, no, probably not. Yes, there is most likely like multiple decimal values and they only show 1. But I mean, I'm assuming. Well, that's the thing. You cannot know if the time, or well, the speed that it shows in the face of challenge, if it ends in 0.7, you don't know if it's 0.700 or if it's 0.768, to give a random example, or 765 like Ridge Racer likes doing, right? Like the thing is that if it is that way, it will heavily depend on how it compares with each other. So the most likely scenario is that they just don't care about the additional decimals, and as long as you equal it or you are faster, it lets you win, right? That was absolutely free. Like, a lot of difference with the other guys. And then the final one, finish ahead of Hannah Smith. Why is ahead capitalized? Like, ahead is not a proper name, obviously, but it's also not a word you will capitalize. Oh, I remember this track. It's a pretty cool track. But is it the first time that this track shows up? I have a feeling it is. But all the tracks that appeared before were like tracks that already appear. So if this one was the only exception, it would be weird. Well, maybe it already showed up and my memory is shit, but I have a feeling that it didn't. I just remember it for when I played this game some time ago. I'm not sure if it already showed up in this playthrough. But whatever. In this case, the opponent is Hannah Smith. But something that I can guarantee you is that I never had any Hannah Smith as a high school classmate. Those names don't exist around here. Those names are non-existent. But hey, maybe Wasabi had one. You never know. Yeah, I will assume that Hannah Smith is a very common name. I mean, Smith is a very common last name. And Hannah sounds like the kind of name that will probably be relatively popular as well. But yeah, I don't know. I tune out of the stream. No, I was saying that the objective of this race is to beat Hannah Smith. And I was saying that I certainly can tell you that I did not have a classmate with that name. But maybe you did. But maybe not. Yeah, about Hannah Smith. Yeah, maybe you did have a Hannah Smith in high school. I don't know. I can guarantee you I didn't. And it's not like there is even an equivalent to either of those names, I'm pretty sure. Like in Spanish, you know that you have a lot of names. Well, for example, that other driver that is Camille Bernard. Camille has an equivalent in Spanish, which is Camila. But in Bernard, I guess it also has one, but it's not very common. But I'm pretty sure that neither Hannah nor Smith have Spanish equivalents, do they? Didn't have someone with that name, and also I usually know it's spelled like Hannah here. Well, yeah, it is spelled like that in the game too. Yeah, it's just that Clonka had a typo. The one in the game is named exactly like that. The one in the name is H-A-N-N-A-A-H. It's basically the type of word that is the same in reverse. Now that I think about it. Pretty funny. Like they did it on purpose. Also, you know that now that I think about it, Smith probably does have an equivalent in Spanish. Just that the equivalent will be a translation. Like here we have a last name that is, well, it has different variants, I think, but you can have something like Herrero or Herrera, which essentially, as a real word, it means something like, well, blacksmith, like someone that works with metals, which is what Smith can also mean, you know. So I guess that's the closest we have to a Spanish version of that last name. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm way off mark. It's also pretty interesting to think that last names in general, or well, family names, whatever you wanna call it, they are names that used to have a meaning. It's just that nowadays most of the meanings are forgotten to time, but a lot of them are still relatively easy to investigate and see what it means. It's not something that most people actively think about, you know. Almost every single last name has a meaning. Well, then first names too, those tend to be even more obscure, while last names tend to be, you know, something that had its meaning probably from a closer language than the first names. Or maybe I'm full of shit. Look, I'm not an expert in the subject, so I wouldn't know. Who knows? Not me. Also, all of these races with this electric car felt very silent, you know, because this thing doesn't have a sound in the engine. But yeah, little bit of an interesting little guy. So I unlock a Ferrari, the GTO, sure, and I got a bonus paint shop. Yeah, okay, sure. So that's the end of photo finish, and here comes the very first tour that is part of a pay DLC. Like, this is where the season pass of the game starts, and this red line thing got released at the same time as Elements. Well, here we are essentially going in order from right to left, so whichever we pick first, I don't think makes a difference. But yeah, we're going for Redline, and I guess we're leaving Elements for tomorrow, most likely. So what do we have here? We're supposed to pick between two Ferraris. Well, stat-wise, this seems better. Huh. And the factory paint shop can only be red. Classic Ferrari. Yeah. I don't know why this one is called Redline. Is it because of, like, Ferrari, like it's a pun with red because Ferrari is always red? You know, every single DLC focuses on a theme, right? I think the theme here is supposed to be that Ferrari. Well, so far. Maybe it's just a coincidence and later on there's not gonna be anything of the sort. Oh, that's an interesting objective. That's the first time that objective shows up. Leave the race for 1 minute. That's not as hard as it sounds. Like, that's relatively easy. I mean, that's something that I've been doing in every of these events so far, so... That's definitely not gonna be the hard objective. The one that can be hard is the cornering face-off. I mean, cornering face-offs are always scary no matter what. You know that I feel like the first time I played this game I really sucked balls, because I feel like I remember struggling with that objective sometimes. But how could I struggle with leading the race when in this playthrough I essentially been doing it almost every time? Did I really suck that many balls when I was 10 years younger? Hey, come on, dude. What a scrub. How could you struggle with leading the race for a minute? And it's not like it resets even if you get overtaken. The only thing that happens is that it's like the count stops temporarily, it pauses, but it goes back as soon as you... Well, I think it goes back as soon as you get the lead again. Damn, I barely got the face-off. Damn, can you believe that the Gabby of the past was a fucking scrub? I mean, I remember also being a scrub in Gran Turismo 4, but to my defense, I played Gran Turismo 4 when I was quite young. Like, we are talking probably when I was 12 years old or something. Most likely right before high school. That's most likely when I played that game, so being trash at the game at that point makes sense. But when I played this game, 2014, I had... Well, that was 11 years ago, right? I was 18 years old. So at that point there is no excuse, dude. Like, come on. How could you suck at the game like that? You are even legally an adult at that point. So you have no excuse for sucking at a game like this. It happens. I don't think age matters when it comes to being good at video games. Well, unless you are an old fuck with no reactions, I guess. Or you're a literal baby. But no, this is not related to Ferrari. I mean, you can already see that... Well, this one is a Renault. So... Certainly, it's not related. Also, there are many of this type of Renault cars in this game. Because this one is different from the one I used in the previous tournament. And it's also different from the one I used before that. But this one is not electric. You can probably tell by the sound. Unfortunately though, this is a time trial. So that might be an issue in itself. Most likely. Or will it? I'm on the lead so far. I guess it's mostly because most of the difficulty in this time trial is the chicanes, but I feel like after playing so much Gran Turismo, the whole theory of how to engage with chicanes got absolutely ingrained in my brain. That was absolutely free. That was so free and it took less than a minute. And it was free even when I did the first corner so badly. That's crazy. Well, it was so free that I couldn't even get to level 2 on the car because it ended so quickly. Okay, so here we're actually going for the Corvette. So this is apparently the DLC that adds the Corvette. Like before this, the Corvette was not a... It's not a base car in the game. It's as I say, if you want to see which car is DLC, look at the car that is not European. If a car is not European, it most likely is DLC. There are some exceptions, but for the most part that's the rule. But then this car, I always like the modern version of the Corvette. They look so good. Well, the old Corvettes are also nice, but I really like the way the modern Corvette looks. Oh, and speaking of chicane, this cornering face-off is right through the chicane. I promise that with other assholes here, I don't think I'm gonna do it. Maybe we will. Actually, we will. Damn, they made that super easy. But it's like, right here, it feels like they are assuming that the players are gonna suck enough to not be able to do chicanes fast enough. Well, I guess thankfully I don't suck at chicanes. Yeah, nice drift. Oh. Well, these guys are all Corvettes, so we essentially have no... There is no car advantage here. But obviously in a straight line, if they have slipstream, they will go faster than you. Obviously. No, damn it. I mean, that's not a problem for losing my position. It's a problem because one of the objectives is the lap time. Doing that chicane fast is hard. I was bragging earlier about being good with chicanes, but that chicane is a death trap. That chicane is an absolute death trap. Yeah, and I don't think that's gonna be enough time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it actually will be enough. So I guess the... Damn. In some cases, the standing start is so noticeable in how much slower it makes the lap time. It's very noticeable sometimes. Okay, see, that was my fault because I had no reason to do that chicane fast. There was zero need to do the chicane fast when I already have both the lap time and the cornering face off. Hey, don't worry about it. It wasn't bad enough to lose. Hey, that's something you don't have to worry about. I will win. Trust me, I will win. Alright? I know that it doesn't look very hopeful now. We're in slipstream here. Well, doesn't matter. Didn't I say I will win? And I won. I won the star, that is. Obviously, I was talking about the star. It says finish top 2. It doesn't say win the race, you know? What did I tell you? I told you I was gonna win, and I obviously won. But who cares about the first place, right? Yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, the objective is getting all the stars, so if I don't win a race that doesn't require winning, I don't really care. So here we're doing a face-off between the modern McLaren and the old McLaren. I mean, as much as I like the old McLaren, the lack of DRS and curves is probably not something you want to fuck with. But I would probably use this one simply because you can actually unlock the paints and shit. So yeah, I'll do that. The OG McLaren is very good. But not very good when it's going against its modern variant, I gotta say. Oh, and I remember using the McLaren to do this exact same race. Okay, that was not a good place for DRS. And this is definitely not a good place for the RS either. You don't want to sacrifice downforce there. Oh, and I got the lap objective right on the first lap. I mean, that's just how this McLaren is. It's that busted. So that being said, I'm surprised that the guys in first and second place are the old McLarens, so that they can keep up with no issues. Actually, we are being beaten by our predecessors, come on. Cannot let that happen. Well, there is no need to be that aggressive with it, though. And that guy is going quite fast. I could have easily picked the other McLaren and getting a lot of collision penalties. I mean, maybe if I didn't drive like an asshole I wouldn't get it, but I am driving very badly here, that's for sure. The tires are really suffering there. That was not cutting the corner. Oh fuck, well now I don't have anyone to crash in that corner, so kinda have to do it the right way. That was unfortunate, it's fine. I'm still fine. What happens if I use the DRS here? No, That's not a good idea at all. You don't want to lose downforce on the final corner. Yeah, unfortunately my car didn't end in a very good condition, but that's fine, don't worry about it. Well, if you ask me personally, I prefer the 1992 McLaren, but it's just that this one, with the fact that it has KERS and DRS, is kinda cheating. Like, the AI might show the other ones being able to compete with no problems, but I smell something fishy there. I just think that there's something very fishy. Oh, I got the objective. It also seems that they really want you to use the McLaren in these tracks that are very short and just have a high lap count. After having played the Formula Championship in Gran Turismo, calling a 5 lap count high is a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah. I guess high in comparison to how it usually is. I mean, so far, 5 laps has been the longest that we've seen in the game. I don't even know if it's the longest allowed even. Might be. I don't know. I can tell you that thanks to the DRS and the KERS, this car is pretty fun to use. It's a shame that most cars don't have this mechanic. It's only limited to a very small couple of cars. I think that they are pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's pretty cool that they limited the not that they limited. Like, I find it cool that they put a whole mechanic only for a couple cars. Like that kind of tells you of attention to detail. Like, they develop a whole mechanic just for only a couple cars to use it, simply because they want to give those cars something unique. That's pretty cool. Oops. That's the first time that I failed at chicaning this in this race. second place was pretty close, but thankfully not anymore. Alright. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't as free as I was expecting, but it worked well enough. It probably would have been free if instead of this McLaren P1, I pick the one that is a DLC. And the good thing is that this one is level 5, so it unlocks the flake paint shows, which is nice. Alright, Scholden Drift. That's supposed to be the name of the track. Done with a Mercedes. And you know, yeah, the funny thing, this is a different Mercedes AMG than all of the other ones that I use. You notice any difference? Because I don't. Well, yeah, this one has the door open from the bottom, but that's pretty much it. Oh, okay, there is a very big difference here. This is an electric car. That's the main difference. Well, yeah, I will say that that's a very sizable difference. But I think it would have been better if you tried to make it look more different, right? Because it has such an insane difference as it is. It looks exactly the same as all of the other AMG. That doesn't matter because I already got the objective, so that was pretty fast. It seems that so far the drift events are some of the easiest, even though I remember them being some of the hardest. I really wonder why. Oh, well, you wanted more Mercedes? Then pre-order edition? Did I pre-order this game? Maybe I did. It's the exact same car, by the way. The only thing that changes is the color. You can see that in the stats that it's the exact same car. Well, might as well use it. I mean, if I pre-order it, it has the Driveclub logo all around. That's the special thing about it. But yeah, now that I think about it, it might be possible that I pre-order this game with the season pass. Because back then it was the time where I thought pre-ordering was a good idea. I was the typical mindset of, well, if I'm gonna purchase it anyway, might as well pre-order it. Yeah, that's not a good idea. But back then I thought it was a good idea. And it's not the only game that I pre-order. I'm pretty sure that I pre-order also Guilty Gear Xrd and Neo, both on the PS4. I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered those two games. I mean, Neo, Neo has to be a game that I pre-order no matter what. Not so sure about Guilty Gear Xrd though. But I do remember playing that game on release, so it most likely was a pre-order. Yeah, no, it was a pre-order because I remember Elfeld was a character that I think was a pre-order bonus. Like, it came quote-unquote for free if you pre-order the game. But yeah, I most likely pre-order that one too. See, back then, I guess I didn't have too much critical thinking. But as you can tell, as I say before, I was 18 years old. I didn't have the amount of critical thinking I might have now. But this one was most likely a pre-order. Pretty funny, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people heavily regretted pre-ordering this game. Mostly because a lot of people probably got it because of the online aspect. And when they realized that the online aspect is, well, on release it was so shit, they were like, come on, why did I pre-order? In my case, didn't really make a difference, because I'm playing it now 11 years afterwards with a car that was only available on pre-order, so why not, right? Though it's the only one that I've seen so far that is available on pre-order. Like I don't think I've seen any other one. But this is the only pre-order car that's a little bit shit. As if there weren't already enough Mercedes AMG that look exactly the same to each other, to add another one that not only looks exactly the same as another, but is exactly the same as another, you know? Doesn't just look the part, it is the same one as well. Just with, literally just with a different coat of paint. You know that's usually an expression that, like, that something is only different because it has a different coat of paint. To say that it's the same thing, but it's presented differently. Well, this one is in the literal sense a different coat of paint. Pretty funny to see that. Damn, and all of the electric ones are eating shit on the second half of the grid. And is the game trying to tell us that electric cars are shit? That's not very ecologically friendly of you, mister. I really like the way this skin looks because it's supposed to be about the game. It reminds me of Gran Turismo 6. That game I didn't pre-order it, but it had I had it physical, and for having the physical version, you got a code that gifted you 15 cars, and those cars all had like some very exclusive paint that looked like the logo of the game. Like it was all metallic blue with like some checker patterns, and I'm pretty sure the Gran Turismo logo was at some point of that skin. So this one reminds me of that. Just that in Gran Turismo 6, as I say, you had 15 cars for free that had that pattern. This one so far seems like it's only one. That's a little bit shit in comparison, and keep in mind that Gran Turismo 6 is a PlayStation 3 game, while this one is a PlayStation 4 game. Quite a nasty comparison, right? Gran Turismo 6, I still remember that game as being one of the best racing games I ever played. Like, if it wasn't for Ridge Racer 7 and how much I like that game, I probably would say that Gran Turismo 6 is the best racing game ever. Obviously, they are two very different type of racing games. One is a super arcade racing game, while the other one is meant to be more of a simulator, even though it isn't really a simulator. It's just a simcade, as a lot of people like to call it. So they are obviously very different type of games, but I'm just comparing it as the game experience, like the quality of the game as a game, and they are both very good. But I will have to play Gran Turismo 6 again, and I say that wouldn't happen anytime soon. I want to give it some time to rest. Not to mention I will have to play 5 first, and before 5, as I mentioned, I have to play the arcade versions of 3 and 4. So there is still a long time until I get to Gran Turismo 6, but I want to replay it simply to know if it was as good as I remember it, or if it's just nostalgia talking. Because it might just be nostalgia talking, but I think Gran Turismo 6 was an amazing game. It also have a lot of additional shit, because differently from Gran Turismo 4 that it was on the PS2 and you couldn't really have any additional content after the game release because the concept of updates wasn't really a thing. Gran Turismo 3 has a lot of content that got released after the game release, basically. Like a lot of cars, a lot of events even. And the fact that they were also weekly events that constantly got renewed every week. Well, that's the point. It's the reason why it's weekly. But I don't remember if it was weekly or bi-weekly. It was one of those two. I win. As much of a Mercedes AMG hater as I am, I gotta say I like this car, but mostly because of how the paint looks. It just looks very nice. That also is the perfect information to tell me that I did pre-order this game. Oh, and here we're just going with the McLaren, huh? Do I have? No, I don't have the special paints. Well, we can go with this one. It's supposed to be the default one, and there's no change in it. It's gonna be orange, whether you like it or not. Oh, come on. There you go. It's starting to get a little bit cold. Alright, so this is a time trial here. Wasn't the first event of the day a time trial here as well? Just with a different car. But the sound of this car is pretty nice too. Yeah, I don't think it's the same variant that I had earlier today. It obviously wasn't the same car, but I'm pretty sure it was a different version of the truck too. Ah, damn it. That's a hard corner. Ooh, almost went straight to the bridge wall. Why did you have to slightly touch that like that? What an asshole, god damn it. Come on, dude. Why are you like this? Well, I don't know if I will have won. So this has to be a restart simply because my start is a lot slower. Well, not a lot slower, but just slower. Even if it's for a little bit, it's a problem. That was not a good corner whatsoever. Probably will have to be a reset. But what happens if I just keep going because I'm a moron? Oh, actually I did that corner way better than my past self. Pretty funny. But man, the moment you step on the snow, you can say goodbye to your stability. it makes sense, but then it's just going a little bit off track to say goodbye to your car, pretty much. This one will take a while. Just like any fucking time trial, I guess. Notice that even with all the different type of events that the game has, time trials are by far the hardest. You would think that they would only be slightly harder. No. They are by far the hardest. That somehow didn't count as skipping the corner, so I'll take it. Sometimes it's very weird what's the standard, like what counts as skipping a corner and what doesn't. Oh, I did that corner like shit. But especially compared to how I did it the previous run, that I did it so much better. I mean, so much better than even my ghost here. Okay, so this is the part where you're supposed to go full speed. The moment that I started losing here was there. That's because if I went any faster, I definitely would have hit the bridge. This should be enough. Even if the corner exit, it is enough. The corner exit wasn't optimal, but it was good enough. So I'll take that. Okay. And what else do we have here? Special edition. This is a Ferrari. Oh, another time trial, dude. Man, come on. Can we not do time trials, please? Or is that too much to ask for? Might be too much to ask for, actually. It's a possibility. That break was unnecessary. Well, though, so far it seems that the other ghosts are very far behind for some reason. Maybe this is the opposite of what usually happens. And maybe here the ghosts go slow at the beginning and then they go super fast at the end. It's possible. Because you never know. I mean, the ghosts are a way to visualize the times that you're supposed to beat. But at the end of the day, you're supposed to beat a time. You're not supposed to beat a trajectory. So even if you're ahead of the ghost, or the ghost is ahead of you, that doesn't matter because you could still go faster at any time. Then this one was free though. That one in particular was pretty free. It can always happen. Yeah, absolutely free event. Just like that. There are two more before the championship. So here we're back with the Corvette, and it's a drift one then. These are a lot of events in a row that don't really have don't really have a race in them. Like, these are just like very individual events. That's fine by me. I mean, if anything, assuming that you can do these events on the first try, it means that they are gonna be done faster than a race, without a doubt. Oh, and here there are only 2 drift zones. That's the reason why that previous one was so long. Oh, that was a very good drift. Nice. If you get it on the first try like that, you can just go far. They got the GTA Spano. Alright. Cool. I mean, it also looks like a Lamborghini. It might be another Italian car, perhaps. Oh, and here we have this guy. See, but the problem with this guy is that if you're putting it against cars that are clearly faster, there's not much that the little guy can do. Well, to be fair, it's supposed to be a supercar, so... What are the objectives, though? Cornering face-off. Yeah, the one that says achieve a speed of at least 200 kilometers per hour most likely won't happen with the little guy. It's as I say, there seem like there are a lot of Renaults like this, because apparently this car looks super similar to like 3 other Renaults that I used in this playthrough, and yet this one I never used it before. So it seems that essentially you have the Mercedes AMG, you have the well, this Renault, and what was the other one? The other model that looked exactly the same. Oh yeah, the BMWs. You essentially have Renaults, BMWs, and Mercedes that look almost the same as each other. To the point that you have to wonder. Well, in a lot of cases, you have to wonder indeed what the difference is. Oh, this is an extremely short track, I just noticed. Like, assuming I were doing a good lap, it would essentially be faster than 50 seconds. It's an extremely short track. I'm not getting this cornering face-off as long as these assholes stay in my way, so we'll have to be a real attempt on the next 3 laps, I guess. Also, earlier Clone Cat was saying that this game looks amazing. It not only looks amazing, it also sounds amazing. The engine noises of some of these cars sound so good. It sounds so powerful. It really sounds like it's a beast roaring. It's a beast trying to intimidate you. As expected, that face-off without opponents is pretty much free. The only remaining objective is the first place. That shouldn't be a problem. It usually happens with the more powerful cars. Well, as you would expect, the slower, weaker cars don't tend to have a very loud noise. It's not like the engine is doing much in the first place. Was cool. It was mostly cool because of the engine noise. It really sounded perfect. Oh, and nobody used this car. That makes me think that this car was a DLC then, right? It was a face-off between... Yeah, and even the cover of this shows that it's supposed to be against these two guys. But if anything, that reinforces my idea that you know, most of the cars are... the same, because it's supposed to be like the same model as that other one, because otherwise it wouldn't be allowed. Alright, and then we have the red line trophy. Lap time, achieve speed, and lead the race for 1:45. So here we have very specific choices. Why would anyone pick this Mercedes, dude? Why would anyone do that to themselves? Come on. So here is between the Ferrari or the Renault. Well, stat-wise, the Ferrari seems better. I think I'm going Ferrari here. They already unlock a special. No, not yet then. I use this car quite a lot already. Yeah. I mean, just gotta finish the red line tour with a red car, and there's nothing more red than a Ferrari, you know? Right. I gotta say that I'm really looking forward to the other cars, to the other tours. Like, I'm really looking forward to them, because it's not just that they have new cars, you also have new tracks. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most. That's what I wanna see. And also the fact that the next one essentially introduces rain. That's great. That's absolutely great. Yeah, honestly, I don't really feel strongly about any of these cars, really. Like the Ferrari, the Renault, or the Mercedes, I don't think I give enough of a shit. Though I do like the fact that they are all from a different country. Like, you basically have a France, Italy, and Germany face-off. So this time, I'm going with my ancestry, of course. I'm going with Italy. Yeah, clearly pick it because of that, and not because it's the best car in the selection, right? So I even wonder why they even include the electric Mercedes when it's so shit compared to the other two. Like, what? I guess if you are, you know, if you like making things harder for yourself, you could pick that, sure, but well, we are definitely not seeing the Mercedes here in the podium. I wouldn't be surprised if the results of the race had all of the Mercedes at the end, just like it happened in that other race some minutes ago. Most likely will be like that. If you're a huge Mercedes fan, yeah, are there Mercedes fans though? Does such a thing exist? Well, they definitely do, just like any car brand has fans, but I mean, I can see in Formula 1 when Lewis Hamilton was dominating, well, before Max Verstappen started dominating, I'm pretty sure a lot of people became fans of Mercedes because that's what the car was. It was a Mercedes car. Though I think that they were probably more fans of Lewis Hamilton than Mercedes. Because keep in mind that, if I'm not mistaken, the teammate of Hamilton when he was winning everything was Valtteri Bottas. I don't think anyone gives a shit about Bottas. So I think that there were probably a lot of fans of Lewis Hamilton. And it's to be expected. Like, Hamilton is so good. Because keep in mind that Hamilton has been in Formula 1 for a while. Like, he's like one of those football players that are like 40 years old and they still compete like they were in their prime, right? Like, one of those guys that it's a genius. You know, I don't think any other word is fitting. It's just a genius of the sport. There definitely are, yeah. I mean, every car manufacturer has fans. It's just that I cannot imagine Mercedes being the one that has a die-hard fan base, right? Because with Ferrari, I understand. Ferrari always marketed itself as the luxury company that everyone wants, right? Especially back then in like Formula 1 in the 90s where, you know, Schumacher was the best one. He was the best one in a Ferrari. So I think that, plus the fact that Ferrari always positioned itself as the luxury brand, I think Ferrari is the kind of brand that I can imagine having a lot of fans. Same with brands like, for example, Toyota or Nissan, right? There are a lot of legendary cars made by those companies that to this day are still popular, like those old cars. You can imagine those also having a strong following. Well, surprisingly, the Mercedes, one of them was able to best a Renault and a Ferrari. But yeah, the other two had to eat shit, I guess. The point, what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, the only reason why I could imagine people like Mercedes having a following is because of Lewis Hamilton, exclusively. I think that guy probably single-handedly boosted Mercedes' reputation by himself. Actually, now that I think about it, is Valtteri Bottas even still driving in Formula 1? I have a feeling that Well, I know that I think he's no longer driving in Mercedes, but I feel like I'm not even sure if he's still even driving in the first place. Because you know that the thing about Formula 1 is that seats for drivers that don't have good results a lot of times get cycled a lot. And Bottas was definitely the kind of driver that, despite having essentially the best car of the season, was never able to stand out as he should. Well, and definitely not like Hamilton. I guess comparing anyone to Hamilton is, it's a bad idea. That guy is in a different level. Hey, I don't know, it's been a while since I saw who are the drivers in current Formula 1. I'm not very well versed on how it is. He isn't this year, but I think he signed for next year for a team. Don't remember which. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had something in mind that I was kind of sure that he wasn't currently driving. Well, interesting that he's gonna make a comeback. The question is if he can make a comeback and stand out. I don't know. Well, he definitely stood out back when he was driving, but mostly because he was a punching bag for like commentators and viewers, right? Like, he was the target of shit talking almost every time. Because you know, of course, that you can talk shit about drivers like Tsunoda that never really get a good result and they struggle a lot getting points. But usually those drivers are in weaker teams. So even if as drivers maybe they don't really do very well, they at least have the excuse of being in a weak team. Bottas did not have that excuse. So the shit talking was a lot more because of that, you know. It's like, you have the best car of the season, your teammate is Lewis Hamilton, and sometimes you didn't even get points for the team. It's like, what are you doing, dude? So yeah, he was popular as a punching bag. I mean, I feel bad for him because anyone that is in Formula 1 by default, they are very good at racing. Like, what people do in that category is something that is very easy to see from afar and be like, huh, what a scrub. But we are talking about people that are not normal. Like, we're talking about people that are very good. Like, of course, some are better than others. Of course, as always, as with everything. But they are people that got there for a reason. So even the worst ones still are very good and still put a lot of effort into what they do. So it feels a little bit bad to talk shit about them. But yeah. Well, and there is also the fact that you could say, well, they are millionaires, dude. You shouldn't feel bad for a millionaire. But you know that millionaires have feelings too, right? I mean, look, I'm not the... If there's anyone that is not a fan of millionaires, it's me. You won't see me defend millionaires in most cases, but the thing is that at least these people do their millions at least in a clean way, you know? Like, they are sport people. So you could say that it's justified or not for them to be millionaires, but at the very least they are not criminals, or even worse than that, politicians. Well, they are kind of the same thing. The difference is that criminals are viewed as such and politicians are not, even though they are. So they are kind of the same thing, but there is a slight difference. Regardless, differently from that, at least for people that do sports, there is a visible merit. So, yeah. Cheating on someone that is amongst the selected 2022 few is crazy. Yeah, I mean, you know that that's always gonna happen. I mean, it happens in every sport. You know, actually, you know what's pretty funny now that I remember? There were journalists, well, okay, I'm using the word journalist very loosely here. But there were journalists here that were talking shit about Messi. Like, journalists from the same country that guy is, essentially the best player in the world, the best football player in the world. There were people shit talking him because he lost, like, well, his team lost like a World Cup match, and they were shitting on him just because of that. Like, shitting again on the best player in the world. So you can imagine that if even the best player in the world cannot cut some slack, imagine someone that doesn't get good results. But yeah. Unfortunately, Valtteri Bottas is like the perfect punching bag for people that watch Formula 1. Because it's like all the conditions are given. It's a guy that is not the best. It's a guy that for the most part didn't get good results. It's a guy that, as you say, is part of a very exclusive selected group. And he also was on the best team in the season. So it's like, it's the perfect recipe to shit on the poor guy, you know? Like, I'm not justifying it, I'm just saying the whole recipe is there. Like, everything, every condition is there for him to be the perfect target for shit talking, you know? So unfortunately it was bound to happen. It's something that you that you cannot avoid. It's just human nature. Like, human nature is about shit talking. But it's about other things as well. But shit talking is certainly a part of the human experience, for better or for worse. And look at that guy. Well, Ferrari was a little bit close. Not close enough to win, though. Yeah. Well, even though they are not all literally on last place, they are all really... Like, none of them are past the halfway point of the grid. I'm talking about the electric cars, the Mercedes. So, I guess we can conclude that the inclusion of the Mercedes in this championship is essentially hard mode. It's like, if you want to play this championship on hard mode, you don't even need to enable the hardcore handling option. Like, no, you don't need to do that. It's as simple as picking that Mercedes. Just pick that Mercedes and that's your hard mode. Well, oh, and we got a special... a paint shop for the Mercedes. Pretty nice. Weren't you listening to me when I was talking shit? Why would I want to use that? God damn it. At least if it was for the Ferrari or for the Renault, but no, it's for the fucking Mercedes. Well, that's that. So, yeah, I know, right? So on the next stream, because I'm gonna finish this today, but the next stream is Elements. Elements, if I'm not mistaken, and as you can see there in the cover, is the first tour that introduces rain. So if you think that the game already looks good now, when rain starts being a thing, it looks so good. It looks even better if you use the cockpit view. I'm not a fan of that, so I'm probably not gonna use cockpit. I'm gonna use the same camera that I've been using all this time, but here is when the game starts looking very good. And this one, Sakura, you can probably imagine what that means. But yes, here they add new tracks, and some of those tracks are Chopin. So the idea for tomorrow will be to do Elements, Apex, and most likely start with Sakura. Probably not gonna finish it tomorrow, but the idea is at least playing these three. We will see how hard the events there are, but that's the plan. So hey, that will be it for me for today. So thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream with more Driveclub. So have a good one, and take care.